And we're live. Hello, Matt.
Hello.
I had to get my old TV out again and get you all
Oh,
hooked up
cool.
there. You're not fitting on
Push
the
those
TV.
buttons.
Yes, yes. You're not fitting on the TV the same way you were last time. There we go. Let's try that. Nice. But yeah, so how have things been going? That's right. You very politely, very kindly agreed to one more game of Malagast. So last weekend, our usual Blade Runner time, we did a second game of the Magna Gothica Malagast.
Best game ever.
Yes, yes, right. Yeah, you definitely you've got the late game for your faction is pretty tough. Yeah, you guys are pretty tough.
Yeah, I was talking to Will about it, and the fact that he put up all those stupid walls,
Hmm.
and that you and him were kind of mainly dealing with each other, it just bought me so much time to set up.
Right, right. Yeah, yeah, that's true. And you didn't even really get very deep into even all of your abilities, like your resurrection stuff and everything didn't even come up because we were just struggling for real estate.
I didn't even lose a model.
Right, right. Yeah, it still feels tight on a 10 by 10 still feels pretty tight
Hmm.
in the game. So, I mean, I guess it forces you can't kind of hide in a corner or anything. You kind of got to get involved. But yeah, it still feels like you're right there.
Yeah.
But so the next day, what were you guys up to on Saturday? On your
Saturday we played Will's game, which is his own like homebrew system,
oh,
homebrew world.
mhm,
Yeah.
nice.
It's pretty neat. Pretty neat. He went for like a real kind of simple system where you pick like three background kits,
Hmm.
and then under each kit you have three sort of aspects that kind of make it unique to you. And then it's a dice pool system,
Hmm.
and basically you're trying to add dice based on all the kits and aspects that you think are relevant to the test, and then roll them against sort of a target number. But he made it kind of a like playing Risk, where there's two different numbers.
Uh-huh. Nice.
So like maybe it's a 7 and a 5.
Hmm.
So if you beat both, it's like a complete success.
Oh,
If you
that's cool.
or if you only beat one of them, it's like a partial success. So there's some kind of cost to it, and that kind of thing.
Oh, that's
So
cool.
it's pretty fun. I made a crazy uh, 5'2" barbarian who's the last of his tribe,
Uh-huh.
whose whole purpose in adventuring is to find men of quality to go help him go kill the tribe that killed his tribe.
Uh-huh.
So like
Nice.
I literally, whenever we go into a meet someone new, or anywhere where I have to tell someone my name, I have like this paragraph long lineage that I start reciting, and
Excellent.
it's good when the other players are rolling their eyes.
Right, right. Nice. So fantasy, kind of like straight
Yeah,
fantasy. Nice.
yeah, it's fantasy. His world's kind of interesting. We're started out in a pirate city
Hmm.
that's been unified into one nation. So it's like all these different pirate factions under one umbrella, and they take turns policing the city when they're in port, basically.
Hmm.
It's pretty cool. It was a neat idea. It's kind of fun.
Nice.
And then I ran my Black Sword hack game on Tuesday,
Oh, yeah. How'd that go?
and that was a hoot.
Yeah.
That's what this incomplete map behind me is from.
Oh, nice.
Uh, yeah, it was fun. I'm doing sort of a mystery adventure this time,
Hmm.
and one of their former sort of patrons uncle has been abducted, and so they're going all over the city trying to find it. And it was fun to devise a mystery for a fantasy setting, and
That's
uh,
cool.
they ended up having to fight in a pit fighting match
Uh-huh.
against they were a team of three. There was another team of three guys who had been shanghaied,
Mhm.
and so they didn't want to be there. They were terrified, and then they released a dire tiger with plate mail barding on it into the pit with them. It was pretty funny.
Nice. Excellent. Well, that's good.
Yeah.
And tomorrow we've got some Blade Runner. So
Mhm.
yeah, we'll be wrapping up. So what are we doing after Blade Runner? Because I think this is it. I think unless you guys go heavy into the dating aspect of the game, I think we're going to be wrapping it up.
Yeah, I don't know. It's a good question. We have a pretty long list,
Hmm.
right?
Yeah,
Um,
yeah. There's lots of stuff to try. Yeah, I want to try something on alchemy. I think
mhm.
yeah, that would
Maybe
be
we
nice.
should do Tales from the Loop or something,
Oh yeah,
or Dust Off Vassen.
yeah, yeah. That's right. They've got the official stuff is all out for that. Yeah, that might be a good next choice because we've got the England Ireland setting,
Mm.
and then we could also I think they also made the dwarves or sorry the giants the mountain of the
Mountain
giant.
Saga
Yeah,
thing.
Mountain Saga. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yes. Oh yeah, have you been watching the what Free League has been doing with their live streams? They've got the GM that wrote the Mountain Saga. They've got her hosting live streams for them for Coriolis and stuff, and she is awesome. Like she is like well spoken and really charming and stuff. Like really nice to listen to. I think that works well. Some of their previous stuff was a little on the boring side as far as
Yeah,
live
I,
streams.
I saw that she was doing stuff for them, which
Hmm.
I thought was cool. I haven't watched any of it
Mm.
yet.
Yes, yeah,
But yeah, the guy that was doing like the promos and interviews for them before was, yeah, it was
yeah.
kind of so.
Yeah, yeah, she's much more passionate, I think, about what's going on. Not to say he wasn't, but it comes across, and from
Mm.
her very well. And so that was nice to see. Yeah, I like that they're doing that and kind of actively. And so talking a little bit more about the history of the company and stuff. That was stuff that we really didn't know about, like why they use the kind of the lotus flower, where that comes from. So it was a fun. They did
Oh,
like a session 0. Yeah.
I'll have to watch some of that
Yeah.
then.
Yeah, take a look. Yeah, look for a Free League Session 0, and they kind of just talk about, how they figured out they could do this full time, how it was like a real company when they were just kind of, playing around. It was just, hobby stuff, and then it got real.
I don't understand, why does Modiphius still get credit for some of their stuff in some
I think
areas?
early on, because I made this mistake on social media of saying, I forget which game it was. It was one of the early games, like I called something a Modifius game, and it was a Free League game. I don't know if it was Mutant Year Zero or something, but I think Modifius was their distributor. So how Modifius does Death in Space, and they have other smaller designers or people that aren't their own publishers. So they do distribution and kind of, I guess, publishing. So maybe early times they published like the first Free League stuff, but very
Mhm.
quickly, and they immediately corrected me on social media. They're like, yes, Modifius does sell our things, but we own it. It's ours. We publish it. Yeah. So very early days, they were like, hey, don't get them confused, because it was a little confusing to me, seeing Free League, but then it was their books were on the Modifius store.
Mhm.
Yeah, yeah,
Okay. Yeah,
yeah.
because they came to Threads,
Hmm.
and in one of their first posts, someone, I followed them and said something, and someone jumped in and was like, I love your guys' games and blah blah blah. One of the games they listed was like Vassen, and I was like, that's not Modiphius.
Right, right, right. Yeah, for a while when their stuff was up there, that was kind of confusing, and I think probably early podcasts I made that mistake too. Kind of flipped it around because I was like, wait, is it 2D20 or is it Year Zero dice
Mhm.
pool? Yeah, that
Yeah.
was the only way to kind of keep them separate. But yeah, they've really separated themselves, though. I mean, with how they deal with licensed IPs and the quality of their kind of finished books, it's amazing. Like I really the One Ring and the Vaesen books, the actual like physical books, are just gorgeous. They're just wonderful to look at and wonderful objects. So they're doing a really good job. I mean, I think everybody else is still kind of stuck in the it's got to have a glossy cover and some kind of yeah. So things feel very standardized from other companies and almost like print on demand, a little bit better than print on demand quality in some cases, but yeah, they really do well, and I think that might be a Swedish aesthetic thing too. Like the paper and their choices of how they want things to feel. It might be because of where they're based. But yeah, so Blade Runner. We'll finish up the. I can't believe we're already at the end of the. We've only got one more case file after this, and that's probably not coming out until I don't know 2025.
Oh man, yeah, it's going to be another long wait.
Yes. Yeah, I'm curious because there's some stuff now. You guys have pulled some threads that might be fun to play with, but I don't want to ruin it. I don't want to like contradict anything or kill anybody, kill anybody that we're going to regret. Because there was so much in that case file, in case file 2, that they had to say if they're alive, if they're not alive, if they get killed now. They had to do all these conditional statements for every NPC.
Yeah, it's got to be a lot to keep track of.
Yeah, lots of fun stuff. But yeah, looking forward to it. And yeah, so as soon as we have that, I'll start cutting it up. I'll start doing the kind of edited version. Yeah, and yeah, because I noticed just searching for Blade Runner actual play, the live streams don't come up. The edited stuff does, but the live streams don't come up. So yeah, we're being very outcompeted because we're doing it directly on live stream. So yeah, it needs to be well produced, and I think people appreciate that too, without all the pauses and yeah, kind of.
Yeah, when you clean it up, but also I think the fact that you're just making something kind of graphically engaging that isn't just a bunch of heads in a box. I say as I am a head in a box.
You head in a box, you.
I think that's a niche you could really carve out because those were real popular, and the Dragonbane ones were too.
Yeah, and if it's a game that has beautiful art, that's the thing. So that's the thing. Like our John Carter stuff, we have a lot of sessions of John Carter, but there's not much John Carter art out there. And the stuff that Modifius did, some of it is like obviously 3D, like painting over 3D models and stuff. So it's like, yeah. So there's not the range of stuff. And we'd have to definitely delve into, AI or maybe all the concept art for the Disney movie, to get some decent, decent resources. But then again, we might be taking something that somebody who doesn't want us to be using, because it's the concept art is
especially with the House of Mouse, you want to be careful.
Yeah. That movie was so successful that I'm sure they're looking to make money anyway. That's still so disappointing how they did that. Like I don't know. Yeah, I just think that's not a property they probably knew what to do with.
Yeah,
but it's a shame. It's a shame that because they were definitely passionate people. All the CG artists and all the previs people and effects people, and even the score and everything, really really well done. Casted terribly casted, terrible script, and just like yeah, very odd.
I don't think. I think it takes a special sort of approach to get pulp, right? Because that last Conan movie was a disaster.
Oh yeah.
I think you have to have a real fan of that sort of pulp fantasy to kind of get that stuff.
Yeah, and now too that where they're trying to balance things between the audiences, they're like, well, can we make a sword and sorcery action movie for women too? It's like, no, you can't. You could try. It's a specific aesthetic, and you could try to cover up all the female characters and foreground them a bit more. And it's not gonna attract an audience. Just like just what Disney is doing with Marvel and Star Wars. It's not going to attract that audience. That audience doesn't exist. But yeah, you can sure the heck try.
Well, I mean, I think those are different ways to do it. There's like the overt, run through run through a bunch of executives and run through a
Mm-hmm.
bunch of sensitivity reader approach.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And there's the, the more straightforward, like, well, this is a movie about pulp fantasy badasses. Just, you could have a female pulp fantasy badass. Why not?
Right.
It
Right.
doesn't, but it doesn't have to be like, I don't know. The way it's usually done, it feels artificial and like presented as, look at what we're doing kind of
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
thing. Whereas it should just be matter of fact. It should be, there's Red Sonja. She kills people because she's a badass.
Mm-hmm.
Moving on.
Yeah,
Like,
right, right, exactly. But she's the first redheaded female to. Oh no, wait, no, no, no.
yeah,
Yeah, no, it's difficult, and I think it's also just because of the whole political climate of Hollywood and everything. For press tours and promotion, and even the actors themselves, they want to say things like that. They want to, even if the studio's not telling them that, they want to kind of virtue signal those sorts of things. So it's like, okay, I
hmm
don't know. Yeah, it's funny. I can't believe we're at the where just mindless entertainment is divisive. It's so funny that it started with like people declaring themselves part of a fandom, and then everyone had to choose sides with their politics, and now it's like, can't we enjoy anything? Isn't anything stupid fun anymore?
yeah,
No.
yeah, and that's just that's just the internet, right? It
Yeah,
just
yeah.
the small cadre of angry people about any issue are just amplified
Mhm.
on the internet.
Right. And it's what you do. Like that's what the medium does best. So yeah, why not? Why wouldn't you do that? That's how you get noticed. That's how you get paid. Yes. All right. So let's start our controversial,
All
very
right.
divisive update of all the tabletop topics. We're gonna upset lots of people this week, I can tell. All right.
Hot takes up flying.
Yes. All right. Let's do this. Welcome to the weekly. I'm Jeremy.
Now, Matt.
Hey, Matt.
Hey.
And this week on the weekly, return to Perinthos, the physical book, Evil Genius's Demise, so Evil Genius Games. CMON has an exclusivity deal, and Pathfinder has official soundtracks for their adventure paths. So yes, in case you can't tell, I had to get the TV out again, and Matt was able to join me. But so I appreciate it very much, and yeah, stay tuned. We'll be online in about 24 hours again, finishing up some Blade Runner. So
Yeah.
yeah, keep an ear out for that. Oh, and something I want to mention before we get to the topics too. There's only a couple of days left, but Osprey Games is having their February flash sale. So like 40% off of a lot of games. So, Frostgrave, Stargrave, all of their various publications and things that they handle for other people as well are all discounted. So if you like physical books and you like the miniature agnostic games that Osprey does, and also their historical, they do a ton of historical. Take a look at that. So I put a link in the description for that. And Chris, of course, we're always talking about what sales we need to take advantage of for the next game. But Chris keyed me into that. So yeah. Take a look at that. So, as far as Osprey, what's the favorite thing that you've played of theirs so far?
Oh, Stargrave.
Definitely Starcraft. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah. I haven't. I mean, I don't think I've really played many of the other games. I
yeah.
look through
Mm-hmm.
their website every once in a while. And I'm like, oh, that looks cool. That looks
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
cool. But honestly, my interaction with Osprey before Stargrave was mostly back when I was a much younger,
Uh-huh.
and I would buy their little books on historical like military units. Like they
Mm-hmm,
would make
mm-hmm.
those little uh, I don't know, maybe they're like 40-page books
Right,
about
right.
the legions of Rome, or
Mm-hmm.
just different things like that. And I guess people were buying them mainly for like the painting schemes and stuff for their
Right.
historical warfare
Mm-hmm.
miniature stuff. But I just bought them as a youth
Yeah, yeah.
for pleasure reading. But yeah, Stargrave, hands down, it's been a blast.
Nice, nice.
How about
Yeah.
you?
Yeah, I don't. I think Frostgrave was kind of my first the first Joseph McCullough game we played, and we did like the Lego Frostgrave. So yeah, I've been all in. I love that. I love what he did with a D20 miniatures game. I thought that was a really fun, and the fact that you could use you could play a completely respectable skirmish game with Lego minifigs was very impressive. So yeah, but I also he's done a lot of stuff. The Rangers of the Shadow Deep. I haven't gotten. I've gone through figured out what miniatures I need for some of that, but I haven't actually played through any of that because it's either co-op or solo. And
Okay.
yeah, the problem is that each scenario, they don't provide miniatures. There's I think some people like 3D artists that are supporting it, but there's a lot of stuff you got to do. You got to come up with a cottage and a forest and some giant spiders, and there's a lot of stuff you got to prepare ahead of time. But and also the what's the kind of gothic setting with the I got that not too long ago, and a couple of factions for that. I'm totally totally blanking on it. But the nice thing too, with all of the McCullough games that are going through Osprey, is they've got a lot of support. I mean, he has done a lot of different games. I mean, Oathmark, Frostgrave, Stargrave. And then the one that I'm totally forgetting, Silver Bayonet. That's right, Silver Bayonet.
Oh, okay.
And they're all getting expansions. They're all being supported. I mean, he is incredibly prolific with doing more settings, more rules, and even the Rangers of Shadow Deep is getting more expansions as well. That's a lot of work because that's narrative. That's almost a narrative game. So
Is he part of that whole turnip thing too?
maybe I'm not sure. Yeah, I think he's kind of like those. Yeah, the guys, the kind of group that publish with the magazine with Ash from Guerrilla Gaming, the Guerrilla Games channel, and I'm not sure. I'm not sure if he develops or like the Gaslands guy and stuff. I'm totally not thinking of anybody's name right now,
Yeah.
but yeah, I don't think. I think I think those are kind of peers, like people that started doing miniatures games with him. But I'm not sure how connected he is because I think he's an American or living in England or something, based in England. I've seen him like visiting or like doing videos with a lot of British podcasts. So I think he might be UK based, but I don't know. He maybe just travels. People can, actually fly to different parts of the world. All right. Well, are you ready to return to Perinthos? So we have an update. So they finished, of course, the community mega dungeon that was done to honor the late Janelle Jacques was completed. All the contributions were done by I think, beginning of February. Everything was combined, and now they're ready to actually do the Kickstarter or not Kickstarter, the crowdfunder. I got it. It's not Kleenex. It's not Xerox. The crowdfunder for the book, which will be called Return to Perinthos. That will be a spiral-bound book that will contain 90 interconnected dungeon levels of all sizes and systems. So the list of the systems gets pretty amazing, and it's a very crazy kind of eclectic tribute to Jacques and her very varied career, like all the way into video games, from D&D to video games. So basically the idea for the mega dungeon was to kind of mirror the Caverns of Thracia, which was probably one of her best known mega dungeons. And so they're going to do a 200 page. They're going to combine all of the community contributed levels in a 200-page wirebound book, and they will give it a fresh setting that will be designed by the Troika and Mothership designer Luke Gearing. So he did adventures for Troika and Mothership. So it's going to get its own setting to try to connect this stuff together. And the other thing that's interesting about the book is it will contain a previously unpublished Q&A with Jacques that was donated by Tavis Allison. So and granted permission from Goodman Games. So it was something that Goodman Games did that they never published. So this is going to be available on Crowdfunder, no E. So Crowdfunder, so I guess it's like an indie crowdfunding site, and it'll be published under the Creative Commons license. And so, of course, the design is intentionally disparate, and they wanted to, just kind of honor her whole career and body of work. So it's described as an heirloom quilt-esque hodgepodge of old school essentials, Cloud Empress, Cairn, World of Dungeons, Into the Odd, and several editions of D&D are kind of all going to be included.
All right.
So get all those crazy dice ready, because you'll never know what you're going to need. And so a lot of the attributed levels will directly reference her designs for TSR and Chaosium. So the description was you can go from someplace like a fantasy theme park that may be connected to a Gamma World style post-apocalypse, and then into a room full of Pac-Man ghosts and a crashed spaceship or the vault of a billionaire art collector. So
right.
So good luck. Good luck following that through line. But so the campaign is going to run. Oh, it's actually, we've just got a couple of days left. Yeah, the campaign runs through the 26th of this month, so just a few days left. And they're expected to ship the books by May of this year. It's going to be they'll fulfill all of the backers on Crowdfunder, and then they're going to do a small print run that's going to be sold through retailers, and then the proceeds from the retail sales are going to be donated to the Trans Lifeline in honor of Jaquez and her activism, and a legislative architect in the U.S.'s trans law, in the community for laws for recognizing trans people. So I think that's pretty awesome. So I'll put a link to the just a couple of days left, but the Crowdfunder. I guess I'm a day ahead, so it's one more day than I think there is left, but it's definitely worth checking out. And this Crowdfunder is directly going to help pay for the outstanding medical bills and, of course, funeral costs. So it's a very worthy cause. And you'll have a very unique artifact, a very unique tribute to a very unique designer.
50%, or $50 for the book, it looks like.
Oh, cool.
And they're almost 2,000% of their original goal. That's
nice. Awesome. Oh, that's good to see. Yeah, that's really good to see. Yeah, because people surviving that left over with medical bills from a serious illness is not fun at all.
Whoa, the person that did this crowdfunder lives in my town.
Whoa. Nice.
Oh, now I need to find out who this person is.
Yes, you do.
That's cool.
Oh, very cool.
Sorry, I digress.
Oh, no, no.
Yeah, so I was thinking about this. It would be fun. I think I might get it later, not during the crowdfunding, just to have as like a pleasure read kind of thing. Because mega dungeons aren't really my thing. But I was thinking though, like, does it say that each level is jaquazed? The whole idea of that is you're supposed to be able to have multiple ways in and out of the dungeon. Like, did they make all these different people make sure that was a thing?
It's possible, yeah. That would be very interesting. And then so then what it would connect to, like what would be the next level that you would connect to? Yeah, it must have been a heck of a book to lay out. Yeah.
Yeah. Or they just hand waved and said, it's for a good cause.
Right.
Yeah, I don't know, but. Yeah. It does have me thinking, though, that I need to add to my sort of classic rule book collection and try to find an original version or an early version of her modules, her Dark Tower and the Caverns of Thracia. We really need to get one of the old versions of that.
Yeah, definitely. No, that's true.
They were probably just stapled booklets.
Right. Yes, like all the early stuff. All right, so are you ready for a tale of intrigue and mismanagement and scandal?
Always.
I've got one for you. So N-World did this amazing. So we've talked about this. We talked about the failure of the Rebel Moon, our tabletop RPG, that deal falling through, Netflix and Evil Genius Games not being able to work it out. But now we know why Evil Genius Games was leaning so hard into such a big license, and they were willing to crank something out as fast and hard as they could to get that payday. So so N-World did a really exhaustive history of the rise and fall of Evil Genius Games. And so how did this company go from 20 core staff and a ton of contract workers to just 6 people in the space of a few weeks? So yes, summer of 2023. Evil Genius Games was on the top of the world. They had made $500,000 over 2 Kickstarters and got about $1 million from several rich tech investors, which is a little bit odd. The company had between 25 and 30 core staff members and, like I said, a ton of contract workers. They had just signed the deal for the Rebel Moon license and were well underway developing that. They had they were sending out all sorts of promotional materials for their D20 modern inspired Everyday Heroes RPG that had a ton of licenses all rolled up in that, where they let you play every kind of 80s movie you can imagine. But by the end of the year, the end of that same year, the Rebel Moon game was dead. Workers had gone without pay for up to 3 months. Freelancers had not been paid at all. And people were starting to be laid off. And all of the tech investors seemed to just be slowly backing away from the company. So what the heck happened? The reason that this was found out is some of the resignations. So once layoffs started and once people stopped being paid, the resignations started, and they didn't actually start originally over money. It was actually CEO Dave Scott started to get really kind of infatuated with the idea of Web3. So Web3 is your NFTs and your AI art and your blockchain, all that groovy stuff that everybody's going to make $1 billion off of. That's, it can take any company from small potatoes into the, you'll be the next Microsoft. So once he started in this direction and started to try to pull this kind of core staff into this idea, they all started to balk and say, that we're not interested at all in this. And so originally, there was a woman, where is her name? Faith Elizabeth Lilly was the chief product officer. And she was the first person that Scott tried to kind of bring in. He started having talks with her about making her a co-founder and said, I'll make you a co-founder of Evil Genius under one condition. You'll help me kind of sell this Web3 idea to the rest of the company. And they'd already got investment from a group called the Blockchain Founders Fund. So already Faith knew that the writing was on the wall. Things were not going the way that she wanted to. And she said that my friends are questioning my ethics on this because there was actually blockchain in the name of this one investor. So of course, I knew this was coming. Yes. So, so a lot of staff having concerns over this technology. And then they started to, the CEO started to really try to push hard using AI art. And they even were pretty determined to use that for their Everyday Heroes campaign. All of their illustrations for items and things are like, how much AI, the generative AI art can we actually use for this? And how, comfortable is everybody with, producing this? And people said no. The artists, the contract, everybody said no. They do not want it to be involved in this project and have that any part of it. And so, right away you could tell they were going down the wrong path. And especially, AI art plus all of these licenses. I don't know how they thought that was going to work, because Everyday Heroes had settings for Pacific Rim, Kong Skull Island, Highlander, Escape from New York, The Crow, Total Recall, Rambo, and Universal Soldier. I don't think any of those companies want AI art, representing, anything from that property. But yeah, so that's how they. They were looking at about $1.5 million in funding, and there was a bunch of Ceda Capital, blockchain funders, Hustle Fund, Side Door Ventures, and Sarah Fund, all kind of startup funding groups had given them money, and they immediately, after raising this $1.5 million, they started spending it ridiculously fast with flashy convention appearances. They started this new retail engagement program that was basically just a bunch of people like cold calling friendly local game stores and offering them free promotional materials and things to heavily promote their publications, and then of course their investment in in technology, because these were technology companies that were giving them money, so they were promising them technology, which was actually going to be Dispatch was one of those things, which was an organized play platform, a digital play platform, as well as they were working on their own D&D Beyond style platform with this funding. So they had money just going every which way. And then by October of that year, Scott realized, I don't have any money to pay the staff. Wait a minute here. I think we've grown too fast. We've set our sights a little too high. So he told the company, we had a tough quarter. We had a tough last quarter. So we're gonna go through with this Netflix thing, and but we're short on funds. So it was very stressful. He said we canceled projects that we thought we were going after, and people who were hired in for certain jobs couldn't do their jobs because we just didn't have the funding to do it. So it was incredibly difficult times. And so he kept stringing people along. So it was interesting because the core staff was all contract workers, and they all had clauses, of course, in their contracts, a non-disclosure clauses and everything. So they needed to keep their mouth shut or be threatened, with legal action. And he did threaten people, that were going to talk about the financial condition of the company. But after they'd squandered all of that initial investment money, they said, okay, we're looking at at least a $3 million payday with this Netflix deal. That's kind of the number that they were looking at. So they said, let's just do everything we can to make this Netflix thing work and get paid from the success of this game, because it's a Zack Snyder property. Netflix is backing it, and I think they kind of overstepped. So we're still not quite sure exactly what gave Netflix the kind of cold feet, but the things that they cited, that Netflix cited in the lawsuit, does seem to be like a little bit of overzealous kind of promotion and things on the part of Evil Genius to get this project done and as wonderful as possible. So they to get this deal started, they paid $7,500 in advance against the royalties, and wrote their World Bible. So they had Eric Nelson and A1 Rowan Nelson work on this Bible, which came up in court with Netflix, and Netflix said, "Yeah, we never asked them to do this, so we don't know what's supposed to be going on with this." And then it came up, the Gamma Trade show in April was kind of the thing that started to cause the problems, where Netflix was saying they were offering pre-sales of the game without Netflix's authorization, unapproved marketing material on their own site. They were publicly playing video clips of one of the Evil Genius's confidential work sessions with Zack Snyder. So all of that stuff pissed off Netflix. And but remember, that lawsuit was settled. So they were dreaming of a $3 million payday that was going to cover all their expenses, get all their employees paid, and everything was going to be back to normal, and they could go back to crowdfunding and all that good stuff. They ended up settling, and from estimates, like, people don't know that this number is secret, like all out-of-court settlements are, but they're guessing it's about just under $500,000 they settled with Netflix for. And but they were required to destroy all of the Rebel Moon materials. They didn't get to keep any of that work. Yes. So what? Yeah, what a mess. So they're still planning. I mean, they've got 6 employees still. 6 people are still hanging in there, hoping to get paid someday, and they're still, yeah, hanging in there. They're going to do a another kind of everyday heroes campaign, but it's going to be a military theme. So yeah, I don't know. After this news comes out, I don't know if they have a chance in hell of getting a crowdfunder to actually work because everybody knows they're out of money now. So
Yeah.
why would they? Yeah, why would you ever get fulfilled? Why would they ever fulfill? And then so there were other claims too. So a lot of the employees that were talked to, there were claims of sexual misconduct and just kind of a very uncomfortable work environment. So yeah, they're all the best, all the greatest hits were part of this uncomfortable,
Wow.
uncomfortable nature of the company. Yeah, pushing things in the wrong direction and all that good stuff. Yeah, military heroes. So military heroes source book, and then their everyday arcana, which is a urban fantasy setting. They still plan on crowdfunding. They still have their sights set on actually doing that, but. Yeah, we'll see. Yeah, the interesting thing is, and it kind of always, Evil Genius always smelled a little funny to me, just how they presented stuff and everything. It was always like a little too enthusiastic for not very good quality stuff. And they hired a lot of, talented contract, writers and artists and stuff, but everything just came out kind of blah. Uh, it seemed
Yeah.
like for all of that. But a little bit of bio on David Scott. He was a former Amazon Web Service worker. He started a company called Marketfish, which is a data management platform, and he also worked for Twitter and was co-founder of some other companies. So he describes himself as a serial entrepreneur. So the worst possible thing for tabletop because it's not a big market. It's not a huge cash cow. So
Mm.
publishing tabletop games is not something you want a Silicon, Valley, digital bro working on.
Mm.
It's just not there.
Yeah, is what Hasbro Watsy is proving is
Yes. Yeah.
the more corporatized and investor driven a company, the worse they're going to be for a gaming product.
Yes.
Like, but what a roller coaster this story, because like
Hmm.
the Everyday Heroes thing, I was just so meh
Yeah.
about all of that. I was like, I'm so glad that like Jeremy doesn't want to play that stuff
Right. Oh, but the crow? Come on.
because
Yeah.
it has to be like Jeremy. No, I would, except I wouldn't. I'd be like, oh, look over here at this thing. But anyway, and then the Netflix thing goes
Hmm.
down.
Hmm.
And it really looks like Netflix screwed them. So like I'm all like, oh, okay, well that sucks. That sucks for them, poor guys. And
Hmm.
now you're telling me this story, and I'm like, oh, wait a minute. Maybe Netflix wasn't the super evil in this story.
Hmm.
Like maybe this dumb investor tech bro guy is the real bad guy here.
Hmm.
Okay. And 6 employees, yeah, they're the ones who are just so invested in all the
Yeah.
like, Ponzi scheme, NFT, blockchain crap that
Right.
they probably can't afford to get out right now, and
Hmm.
they just have to be hopeful that it pays off someday.
Yes. That next crowdfunder is going to do it. Yeah. Yeah. So it's amazing. That was really, oh, and another funny complaint about the hostile work environment was a bunch of volunteers that were hired to work at their booth at the convention. They were trapped in a room, in a meeting room, and they were not allowed to leave until all of them had gone to Drive Through RPG and given ratings to the books that they were publishing at that time. So that's how you make the most of your volunteers. Is you isn't that kidnapping? Like if you don't let
Yeah,
someone leave through a door, like that's technically kidnapping. Yeah.
unlawful imprisonment
Right.
or
Yeah. Right.
uh,
But I guess if you're just asking for a drive-through RPG review, come on. Yeah. So so this was all kind of collated and combined by N-World writer, and he's got a brilliant timeline. I'm not sure the name of the writer, but they have a brilliant timeline of all these events that happened, how everything fell apart, and it's all based on either anonymous accounts from the former employees, or now we have court documents and things that were part of lawsuits. They have some of the licensing agreements and stuff now that they have unearthed. So yeah, they can really see kind of how this all happened. So what a mess,
man.
Yeah. But
and the movie sucked too.
Yes, I know. That was even the worst. They were hoping that was going to save them. That horrible property was going to dig them out of that hole.
Well, in fairness, I was really hoping it was going to be a good movie too.
Yes, yeah, that's true.
Then it wasn't.
Right. Yeah, Zack Snyder makes great trailers, but as far as actual films, original films, yeah, because I even remember seeing the at San Diego Comic-Con, they showed the trailer for Sucker Punch. I was like, what is this amazing movie that is, Catholic schoolgirls with samurai swords fighting robots, jumping out of World War II bombers. It's like, this is the most amazing movie that's ever been made. And no, it wasn't.
It's probably still my favorite Zack Snyder movie, though.
Oh,
if I had to pick
one,
giant samurai robots. Okay.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. So I'll put a link to this article. It's amazing. It's really extensively researched and managed. So a lot of interviews and a lot of going through the source for all of this. So none of this is speculation. Now we know. Now we know what was going on behind the scenes. That was all being controlled by non-disclosure clauses in employment contracts. All right, so moving on to hopefully more positive things. I don't know, though. Exclusivity deals can sometimes mean, ultimately the customer is going to be hurt, but we'll see. CMON has inked a exclusive deal with GameFound. So they're going to do all the crowdfunding and pledge manager work for CMON from now on. And that means they're separating from Kickstarter, and they have been with Kickstarter for about $41 million worth of projects. I'm sorry, no, that was an earlier number. The total since 2012, CMON has raised $108 million on Kickstarter.
Wow,
that is insane. 60 successful campaigns. And now they're parting ways. I mean, Kickstarter, you really made a mistake by not handling that well. Although, I mean, maybe they just looked at it and said, yeah, it's, kind of each project is, less and less. It's diminishing returns. So maybe Kickstarter is, letting them go. But so the recent successes on Kickstarter were the Marvel Zombies campaign, and they also did, I guess that was their most recent one. Yeah, $9 million on Marvel Zombies. So here's a quote. So at CMON, we always look to innovate and provide the best products and experiences for our customers. So that's David Preddy, the COO of CMON. GameFound has a number of excellent features for our fans that our fans have been asking for. We feel their platform is a great fit for us to move into the future. We want our consumer experience to be as smooth as possible. GameFound gives us those tools that we need so we can focus on creating great games. So currently, so their first GameFound campaign is the Song of Ice and Fire. So we talked about that. Their kind of skirmish tactics game. Song of Ice and Fire Tactics is their campaign now, and that's already raised, or that I guess it's finished now. It has raised over just over $1 million. So wow, and that's 4,000. A bit over 4,000 backers. So that means the average backer was paying $230 for that game. Wow. That's a lot.
They have been bombing Instagram ads with that thing.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. I get the gaming ones because of my algorithm, of course.
Right.
That game is all over. I think we talked about it. Was it last time?
Mm-hmm.
When you were talking about all the skirmish games.
Right.
And I don't know if you looked at it, but it is it's much more board gamey. You have like a map. You have like a gridded out mat you're playing on.
Right.
Yeah.
and it has a very big dragon.
Yes.
You must have that on your shelf, or you ain't no gamer. But yeah, so yeah, that was interesting. So there have been two kind of defections as far as platforms from Kickstarter. So we have both GameFound and then BackerKit, and both of them were handling basically pledge management. They were both pledge manager platforms that Kickstarter used. And a lot of the tabletop companies were using them as well. So there's still more news on this, on the competitors of Kickstarter crowdfunders. Brandon Sanderson has said his next Kickstarter is going to BackerKit. So if you remember, yes, Brandon Sanderson,
the record breaker.
yes, he was the person that had the single most successful $42 million campaign for his 4 secret novels that he wrote during the pandemic, just to make everyone else feel like lazy, do nothing, no good pieces of nothing. He had to write 4 books. Yeah, so that was the largest single campaign success on Kickstarter. He has officially moved to BackerKit, and the latest campaign for BackerKit, starting on March 5th, will be a series of collectible leather-bound books, so probably leather-bound versions of his popular books. I'm sure that's going to do insanely well. So he'll have a bigger piece of that, not have to give up as much to the platform as well. So yeah, so very interesting. The competition is heating up. I mean, Kickstarter had a huge advantage by, being there first and everybody having the account, and they had everyone's email. They were able to promote to everyone very easily. But both BackerKit and GameFound are making a good try at it. So so the big difference between BackerKit, so BackerKit is San Francisco based, and their big hits so far have been the Gloomhaven Grand Festival, the MCDM books went through BackerKit, as well as Monty Cook Publishing is doing all their stuff. Whereas GameFound is Polish based, is Poland based, and they're actually the one game company that they created their own platform. I'm blanking on the. It's not Steamforged. It's one of the other game publishers. That's their platform. So yeah, it's especially in tabletop, it's getting much more competitive, and that's what BackerKit even said is don't be worried. We're not going into book publishing, or we're not leaving the tabletop. Our main focus is still going to be tabletop. It's just that we couldn't resist when Mr. Sanderson approached us. It's not like we're going to say no to a multi-million-dollar campaign that's probably going to do well. So yeah, so that's interesting.
I'm really curious what Kickstarter's reaction to all of this is going to be.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I've had some people argue with me that Kickstarter is a vast thing and gaming is only one segment of it. Mm-hmm. But that was a lot of friggin' money.
Yeah.
Yeah. And a lot of traffic, a lot of eyes on their site. And then you add in the Sanderson thing?
Yeah.
Oh my God. Oh my God. There's no way there aren't executives at Kickstarter that are not like, what are we going to do, guys?
Yeah, that's true. And they kind of just,
Oh, go ahead.
Right, they just kind of, let that happen because they were working with these companies, and basically, they were learning how to handle customers, how to keep people happy, how to, what a successful campaign looked like. Why not go off on their own and give them a better, give the people running the campaigns a better split, and yeah.
Mm-hmm. Indiegogo is still around, right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
yeah.
The last DCC thing I backed was on Indiegogo. And it's like you don't hear about them much at all in all of this news,
Yeah, no, that's really true. And like the Jacques tribute book was on Crowdfunder, no E. I don't know that
Yeah.
platform at all. So yeah, there probably are smaller, and maybe people are looking for those. They're looking for a more direct experience, and that might have been the frustration that people were having with Kickstarter is they were so big and had so many different categories of campaigns that they were technology and furniture building and experimental theater performances. Everybody could kickstart anything, and so maybe a more focused platform will be able to address the more specific problems you'll have and be able to market to a to potential backers much more easily. But yeah, we'll see. So this was interesting too as well. The history of BackerKit. So BackerKit was founded in 2012, and Maxwell Salzberg, the CEO, said that their platform was dealing with 40 to 60% of all of the dollars on Kickstarter in any given month, but they were processing that much of their money. So yeah, to lose them, to have them break away was probably not a great thing to let go.
Yeah.
So yeah, interesting. And so the last thing that I thought was interesting that popped up is Paizo is at it again. So so Pathfinder, the Pathfinder RPG has partnered with a fantasy music studio to publish official Adventure Path soundtracks. So Paizo is hiring or is partnering with the Michael Gelfi Studios to produce music for 2 upcoming adventure paths. So Andrew White, their digital products lead, was talking about the virtues of having ambient music at the roleplay tabletop, and I thought this was a funny quote that said, "Many players have to make do with the Lord of the Rings soundtrack or various third-party Halloween, music releases for decades, but now you have the official music that you should be listening to." Nice. So the Michael Gelfi Studios is going to produce full-length soundtracks for the 2 upcoming adventures, Seven Dooms for Sandpoint and the Wardens of Wildwood. So you'll be able to download those alongside of the first volumes of these adventure paths. And adventure paths are a little bit different from maybe how other Wizards or other people are doing it. They're a connected adventure that kind of has monthly releases. I'm not sure if it goes through like the Pathfinder Society but it's a series of adventures, and they don't all come out at one time. So that gives you the ability to download these soundtracks with each part of the adventure. And so, quote from Paizo: "It's our hope that not only will this awesome music enhance your games today, but that from years from now, you'll be able to listen to a track from one of those albums and immediately associate it with a memorable NPC or a moment from your campaign. So much as I associate this track with the time my character critically fumbled and accidentally dropped his weapon off the side of a boat." Yeah. So White is talking about how they want this to kind of work and be used. So the Gelfi Studios has already been doing basically a lot of music expressly for tabletop RPGs, and the one thing that the direction from Paizo for these adventure paths was, kind of support the key themes, inspirations, major characters, and story beats in these compositions and make it work for their adventure paths. So you'll be able to also, so you can buy the soundtracks digitally from the Paizo website, or you can stream them from the composers associated YouTube, Spotify, or Bandcamp pages. And they will also be listing the music for use with popular tabletops like Foundry. I think Foundry, yes, who Paizo is supporting most directly. So there's lots of different ways to listen to it. In fact, you can just get it right from YouTube. So so I thought that's an interesting approach to have it available in as many places as possible. So what do you think about composing specifically for an adventure?
I think it's cool. The thing I always cite is a particular episode of one of the best British sitcoms ever made, the IT Crowd, or It Crowd, if you want to call it that. I don't know if you're familiar, but there was an episode where one of the main characters, Moss, runs Dungeons and Dragons for a bunch of businessmen.
Mm-hmm.
And he's got a bunch of pre-programmed music, but he keeps hitting the wrong button on his remote to his music player, and he just keeps having to be like, oh, bear with me, and I'm just like, it just, I think if you fret about it too much, it's going to pull you out of the game.
Yeah.
Mess up rhythm. And I like to have just some cool atmospheric background music playing, which is great when we play on a VTT because it's right there. I can just set it up and not worry about it. But if you're actually worried about, oh, it's scene 3, I need to pull up this song, then you're not really in the moment with the game at all.
Yeah, that's true.
But collaborative, like music projects with games is becoming, I feel like it's becoming a thing now. Like I keep hearing about it more and more. To the point where I'm talking to the guy who from Loot the Body about doing a song for my adventure.
Right.
And so it looks like that's going to happen, which is super cool.
Nice.
But that's more meant to be like a just to give you like this cool feel and kind of compliment. It's not meant to be like, oh, have this ready for this scene or whatever kind of thing.
Right.
And he's done music to support DCC projects before, which is, I think, is really cool. But I do find it really interesting that more companies are thinking about, oh, we have this game product. How can we turn it up another level? Well, we'll get some music for it.
Right.
So that is cool.
Yeah, and it's nice because it's like an accessory, or it's like additional something that is value added, especially if you're doing like crowdfunding or something. It's value added, and it's just something else that you can use at the table, another kind of accessory. Yeah, because is it Andreas from Sweden Rolls that was doing composition? Yeah, for Free League. Yeah, so they've been releasing soundtracks for Verface and some of the other games they produce as well. And yeah, it does. And I think when especially the company or the designers are choosing the music, it's one more clue about how how they want it to feel, how this is supposed to be set, so you can get closer to the designer's original vision. If you have know what it sounds like. Yeah,
and the nice thing about the style, like what Andreas does, is like a soundtrack. So you could just kind of run that on a loop, right?
Yeah, right.
And it's going to feed into the overall atmosphere of the game, and not have to be targeted to a certain event or time.
Yeah, no, that's true. Yeah. Oh, now they're in the cave. Wait. I got to get the track 17. Right. Yeah. So this is interesting because Paizo seems to kind of occasionally dip into this, because I remember, I think it was when I was their card game came out, the kind of adventure, what is it? The Paizo. It wasn't a collectible card game, but it was I forget what they called it, but you could basically play their adventure paths as a card-based role-play system where all of the iconic characters are represented by these cards and the items and all of the NPCs and everything. You play through this like storytelling card game, and at the same time, to support those iconic characters that are on all the covers of the Pathfinder books, they released an audio drama. So they had voice actors, and they scored and did sound effects for these audio dramas that basically gave you the flavor of these characters if you didn't know them from coming across them in the adventures or reading their backstories in any of the publications. They kind of gave you this sense of who these characters were, and I think it worked really well, because I still, from playing that card game and listening to those audio books, I know those characters. Like I see those characters and I remember their personalities, and I remember like how they fit in the world. So that worked. Yeah, that worked really well to kind of connect. It was a good kind of supplemental part of that. Unfortunately, though, with second edition Pathfinder, they haven't rewritten any of those early first edition Pathfinder adventures for second edition yet. So you can't play those characters, or can't play any of those settings. So I was like, they should get on that, I think. But yeah, I don't know. Yeah, so Sandpoint. Yeah, Sandpoint was one of those. Was one of the towns. So that 7 Dooms for Sandpoint reminded me of that.
I do kind of wonder, like, okay, when Pathfinder puts this out, right, or they get this out,
Mhm.
how does that work with using it on a VTT, and for
Uh,
people who are going to then put their stream up like on YouTube or
right, right.
something? Like,
Yeah.
is it going to be like you're guaranteed no copyright problems, or do you have to only use it for personal use? You know what I mean?
Right.
Like,
Well, I'm sure. Yeah, I'm sure it has some sort of license distinction. And if the composer themselves, if the Michael Gelfi Studios have a YouTube channel as well, they probably have registered the music with Content ID, which are the robots that crawl YouTube. So you're probably not going to be able to monetize it. You can have it on your channel, but then any ads that run, the money will go to Michael Gelfi. So yeah, I don't know. Not if you're trying to monetize your actual plays and stuff. It might not be a good thing to use. Because I know Spotify. I'm not sure about Bandcamp, but I know YouTube and Spotify both have like bots that are looking for their content, so they have kind of strict copyright control. So yeah, that's a good point. Is you might not be able to do much with that audio if that music is in the background, but it'll be so atmospheric.
yeah.
Yeah, no, that's a good point. But yeah, so another Paizo trying something that other people aren't doing. I guess though this studio has done some stuff for Wizards before, so he's got it all. He's got all the companies covered. But yeah, so yeah, very interesting. I thought that was a fun little detail. So it's not happening yet, but this is a kind of coming soon. We just heard the announcement of Coriolis the Great Dark. So middle of next month, Free League is going to release a sequel to Coriolis the Third Horizon. So I guess this is technically the fourth horizon, kind of the the outer rim, kind of an Uncharted sequel to the. I like the name a lot, Coriolis the Great Dark.
Yeah. Yeah.
But we'll find out more what that's about as we get closer to the version of that. So you've
That's
played,
exciting.
yeah?
Yeah. Well, Coriolis is a beautiful sci-fi game. Like, thematically, it's like one of the richest what would you call it, like space opera style
Mm-hmm.
sci-fi games.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's it just has this wonderful feel, and it's different because they really leaned into sort of a lot of sort of Arabic and Middle Eastern kind of themes,
Mm-hmm.
right? And so it kind of feels a little like Firefly, but it also feels a little like something more epic,
Mm-hmm.
something more like The Expanse or something like that.
Right.
It's got a really neat feel, and it's Year Zero system, which I love. So, yeah, we should probably play that sometime
Oh yeah.
online.
No, I would love to. Yeah, I've got the core book, but I haven't had anybody. I think some group has been running it here in Osaka, but yeah, haven't gotten connected with them. Yeah, but it sounds very fun. So I'm curious what they think they didn't cover or what they can expand with that setting, because it sounds like it's going to be a bit different. Like they said, it's in the little bit of the beginning of the live stream when they were introducing it, they're talking about, yeah, this is kind of a frontier story, like the edge of something. So it's going to be different from the established, kind of politics and dynamics of the previous.
Yeah, because it's the where you play. It's not like Star Wars where you're hyper jumping all over the place like crazy.
Hmm.
It's more limited. It's more like Firefly, where you have this big system,
Hmm.
and then I think I'm trying to remember. It's been a long time since we played, but I think you have like a jump gate kind of situation that takes you to a nearby system.
Mm.
I want to say, but uh, you're not exploring the whole galaxy or anything crazy like that. So it does have like sort of a core inner worlds that are more controlled and civilized, and a more outer world frontier kind of thing going on.
Oh, cool. Cool. So yeah, we'll hear more about that as the campaign comes up. So yeah, I think Free League though, they're not going to leave Kickstarter anytime soon. They've had some good luck with Kickstarter. So we'll see. That will be interesting. As soon as Free League leaves, then you know that yeah, Kickstarter has really pissed off the tabletop crowd.
I think they could though, right?
Mhm.
There's been the fact that they've been so successful to me means they probably could jump over to
Oh, yeah.
Game or whatever,
Mm-hmm.
and once they get it up and rolling, be fine.
Yeah.
So yeah,
that's true. Yeah, if they had another, like if they have another big licensed IP game that would be a huge launch on crowdfunding, that would be a good time to save that 7% fee and make off with it. Yeah, so we'll see what happens. All right, so that will do it for this week. So where can people find you, Matt?
I am on Instagram and Threads. It's at Hargald, HARGALD. Where right now I'm posting about, what did I do? I did a what kind of game master are you survey.
Oh, nice.
From this site. It was called like TTRPG University or something like that. It was like 54 questions. I almost stopped because I was like, really, another question? But
wow.
I came back as an enthusiast.
Oh,
whatever that means. They don't explain it. They just tell you. It's really just an ad to get you to go to their site.
Right, right. I guess that's better than poser, right? Yeah. Yeah. Wow, that's a funny result. Oh, cool.
And making fun of Nick Caravaggio, was that his name?
Caravazzi?
The original True Detective creator. Because
right. Yeah, he is.
Season 5 just got greenlit, and it must be boiling his blood.
Yes, exactly. Yeah.
But and then, like you said, tomorrow playing Blade Runner. Hope I don't die.
Yes, yeah. My last chance to eliminate Perez. Retirement for Perez.
He's like half dead already.
Right.
But, how about you?
So occasionally you can find me drawing cartoons on my live stream. The schedule hasn't worked out for a little while now, but Abuse Cartoons on YouTube and Twitch. So I draw my single panel gag cartoon, Domestic Abuse, that you can read at gocomics.com/domestic abuse. And if you like what we're doing here on the weekly, you can support us by becoming a weekling. Visit patreon.com/upturntable and tell us what you'd like to see on the weekly, and send us some tips, some news stories, or some crazy gossip on Reddit, whatever you come across, and we can talk about it on the show. But thanks so much for joining us. And it's Upturn Table on social media, upturntable.com. And so we'll be back about this same time with the live stream for Blade Runner, the last session of Fiery Angels. And so join us then. And thank you so much, Matt, for helping me out this week. Chris was away. It's the Emperor's birthday today, so long live the God Emperor of mankind. I mean, no, that's not that guy. Somebody else. Let's not get into God Emperors. So it was a 3-day weekend. So trip with the family over this weekend. So we'll see what happens next week. But thank you, Matt, and I will see you soon, Matt. And we'll take a little break and be right back to talk to the chat. So thanks for joining us, and we'll see you next time.
Bye.
Goodbye. right. I just couldn't stop laughing at all those people losing their jobs. You know, Matt and I had to take a little break. I was so entertained by that. Yeah, no, I mean that's not. Yeah, we were just having a little bit of that discussion. It's like you being an employee of a company doesn't mean you have zero responsibility if you know that the company is up to shady things, and you know you have to be proactive with knowing when the things are coming down. I mean, I worked at a couple of companies where things were, they're being sold off, and we knew that they were just going to, chop things up, and there'd be huge redundancies and stuff. You just got to be aware of that. I mean, it's not like you can. You're not a victim, you're in a job market. It's not a so yeah. If there was any awkward laughter, it wasn't because we're celebrating the people that got screwed by this guy. But that's another thing too, is the that mentality, that startup mentality that we kind of the in the late 90s, that only can work in a couple of industries, and I don't think tabletop is one of those, where you can just scoop up a bunch of lazy investment funds on empty promises and keep skating on that until you actually figure out how to make money. Yeah.
Yeah, I think if anything, my laughter through that whole segment was just like, of course, it was just like because we live in the darkest timeline, so of course this is happening.
Right. Yeah, and it's so funny. Like, we didn't know when that story first came out. Like the Netflix, the Rebel Moon deal fell through. It's like, wow. So who's to blame? What actually happened with that? And it was hard to imagine how deep that mess went. And it's funny that and we've always there was a previous company that I guess it was like maybe the Steamforged stuff, wasn't it, that we were talking about? They just like one more crowdfunder, that'll pay for all of our previous sins. We'll make it up on the next one. It's just like somebody that can't leave the poker table. They're like, I know for sure this next hand is going to put us back in the black. Yeah, it's funny, and it's interesting that and I think, and that's something we'll probably end up talking about in the future, in maybe possibly some sort of roundtable discussion, is how niche a hobby this is. And then, board games and some tabletop things have had some growth, and WotC has seen profits like they've never seen before, but it's still really small, in the grand scheme of entertainment. It's dwarfed by almost anything else. So yeah,
our hobby's still sitting at the kids' table, but I actually think we get better stuff because of that.
Oh no, I think so too. Yeah. No, yeah, like we were talking about the Hasbro owning Hasbro's Dungeons and Dragons sucks because Hasbro doesn't know their audience. And when you have, Paizo, or you have another, you have a publisher that has more direct contact and are gamers themselves, it makes all the difference. And they're not just digital managers.
Yep.
Yes. So how is how's everybody doing? Good to see Orcus in the
Looks like Vassen got a vote from Orcus.
Oh, nice. Oh, yeah. We should go back. Yeah. Well, I'll have to. We'll revisit that topic of Nils, the Revenant Nils, and see if that would work as a way to get us back. Nice. Yeah, that's really. Yeah, Universal Soldier. Orcus has been waiting for a Universal Soldier RPG. Yeah, that's such an odd approach too, to have like, okay, here's our generic D20, and then here's a bunch of licensed IPs to plug into it. I really want to see one of those books. I think we're talking about the Highlander one when that was released, because they spilled some of the details about how they made Highlander work for D20. And how your character can be even interesting if there can be only one. And I think it's that's a very odd approach. Nice. Hey, and Miguel is here but late. Nice. Yeah, that's right. Hasbro. Yeah, so that's I keep seeing articles about that about Hasbro's bad Christmas. Yeah, they had a all their My Little Pony and whatever plastic they were hawking did not sell this last Christmas season. So everything but D&D and Magic did not do well for end of last year. Oh,
Yeah,
nice.
they're losing all kinds of monies.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, so I wonder. I mean, and that's probably explains why the 50th anniversary has been such a small, a small event. Kind of, yay! Was that who was that you that was saying? Somebody was saying the 30th anniversary was a much bigger. Or maybe it was a YouTuber I was watching. The 30th anniversary was a huge event for D&D, and 50th is kind of like, oh yeah, yeah. That's very, very odd.
2004. Wow.
Yeah, yeah.
I don't even remember it. I probably wasn't playing D&D at the time, to be
Right.
honest.
And it was probably so new, like, the reason they promoted it more heavily is because it was a new, they just sold it in like what, 97. They just acquired it in 97 and then Hasbro got it in 99, so they were looking for some reason to promote it. Nice. Oh yeah, that's right. That's right. But there's nothing that Hasbro can fix all the problems with the profit just by firing more people. Like that was the oh, that's what the Embracer Group guy said. That it's like we're not firing. We're not firing people. We're helping the investors. We're serving our stockholders. We're not firing people or laying people off. We're serving our stockholders. That was an amazing quote. How that logic works. Yeah, if we get to keep your salary and just make you go away, then that's actually a profit, right? Right.
Well, yeah, because Hasbro's layoffs, they didn't call them layoffs. What did they call them? They called it like a reorganization or something.
Yeah, it's always restructure or they're refocusing. I think they were like their vocabulary was like they're focusing on those our big properties, like our 5 big properties of GI Joe and whatever, Transformers. Yeah, but
GI Joe, Transformers, and Shoots and Ladders. Yeah.
yes, yes. Yeah, it's funny. Yeah.
Maybe it's Kyle's time to shine. Miguel said, "Hey,
Hey, you better step up." Yeah, there was a little thank you video that it was mostly the designers, like the D&D designers, just did a 50th anniversary thank you D&D, and the weird thing is, it was all white people and 2 Asians. So it's like, wow, if they're really like thinking heavily about their their diversity and their image, that they're not helping it by making a thank you video showing all the people that are actually working on D&D are pretty monotone. So it's like,
yeah."
okay, that was interesting that they did that. But Kyle, I don't think Kyle was in that video. Kyle should be thanking D&D.
There were some comments, kind of to the effect of like, what you can't see is the cameraman pointing the gun at them right now.
You're right. Thank you, D&D. Can I see my family now? Yes. Oh yeah, what was the Gygax insult or the crapping on just the I'm trying to think. Talking about Hasbro not doing a very good job with well, I guess they're gonna them raising the whole controversy in their history book, them re-raising the whole Gygax Arneson fight is not a great thing for the 50th anniversary unless they're going to be very fair about it. I don't know.
Yeah, and exhaustive, which they're not gonna.
Right.
Yeah. Wow, they could have been. It's almost like they could have commissioned a separate media entity to produce a unbiased documentary. Oh no, they shut that down.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, that would have been good. Oh, right. Okay. Yeah. Gygax. Yeah. They used fighting man. There are no. There are none of that. We'll have none of that.
Fight Man. Fighting Man just sounds kind of dorky anyway. I'm a fighting man.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I don't know. I wonder. I wonder if we're going to see anything, and if they're going to when they're going to release the tabletop. Because if they're not going to get the books out this year, do you think they're going to actually release their digital experience, their VTT, completely this year? Is it still going to be in like some kind of testing?
It's. I don't think it will. It probably. Yeah, they'll probably have some beta kind of thing going on, but
Yeah.
I'm telling you, man, I still think if their receipts keep coming back bad at Hasbro, they're going to start looking at big old assets like WotC and think, wow, maybe we can sucker some, Arabian princeling into buying this from
Yeah.
us.
Right. Right. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, that's what we need. That was that the United Arab Emirates or whoever has that like happy fun entertainment fund thing that they do.
Yeah,
Where they back all their back all
yeah.
the video game companies and stuff. Yeah, I'd love to see them take a take a stab at Wizards of the Coast. Yeah.
Orcus said, all I've seen is an overpriced plush of the demon idol from the AD&D 1E player's book. Yeah, I kind of wanted that.
No.
True story. I kind of wanted that. There's an action figure of the same thing, and I
Oh
kind of
yeah.
wanted it too.
Yeah, there's a lot of like really fun like retro stuff they could produce on it, but I think a lot of that stuff has already come out, like like action figures for the animated Saturday morning cartoon show, and like a lot of
Yeah.
people have been milking the D&D popularity for a while. Like they've got a lot of licenses out there. Yeah. Yeah, I wonder. I thought for sure it would get silly, but maybe it'll just very quietly quietly pass.
Yeah, I think it's just gonna slip off into the darkness. It's not gonna be. It's gonna be such a dud.
Hmm.
Just
Yeah, it's weird. I guess. Yeah, I don't know, because this is their chance to 50th. What is this thing that's been around for 50 years? I mean, it's a good chance to. But I guess they probably have figured out they brought all the new people into the hobby they're ever going to bring in. If the pandemic couldn't do it, then that's it. Yeah, there's not much else. But
yeah, well, certainly not at the numbers that publicly held Hasbro would
yeah,
demand.
right, right, right.
There's always going to be new players, but it's not going to please the investors. It's not going to be that level.
Hmm. Yeah, and a lot of them. I mean, that's the thing that's so funny is like they had the success with Baldur's Gate 3 licensing, a video game to a company that actually, knew how to make a good game, and they saw what that market looks like, and it's nothing like what the actual tabletop, customer business is. Video games is insane. Video games eclipses Hollywood, and the kind of money they make. So it's like, yeah, that was a really bad thing, I think, for Hasbro to see is, wow, that sure is a lot of customers. That sure is a lot of sales. Yeah, because they're never going to sell, 1 million books in a weekend or whatever,
Yeah,
for
yeah. Orcus is saying there should be something going on monthly,
yeah,
and yeah, exactly. Every month, like it would be a great marketing scheme. And it would be kind of cool, probably, if every month a new D&D product related to the anniversary came out.
yeah. I'm really surprised. Yeah, instead we're going to get the two last little week 5e their Vecna thing, and they're just kind of like, oh, okay, yeah. Remember, did you see Stranger Things? Well, he was in it.
He he wasn't in it.
Yeah, right. And
They just named the big bad after him. Damn it!
right, right. And it's a multiverse adventure too. Don't you want to go everywhere D&D can go?
Universal Soldier. Is that the one, the um Kurt Russell one or the Jean-Claude Van Damme?
Oh yeah, I think
Which one
Kurt
is
Russell
that?
is just Soldier, right? I think Universal.
Soldier. That
Yeah, I
one's
think
yeah.
yeah, Universal Soldier. I think is Van Damme, right?
Yeah, because Soldier is the one that people have all crazy theories about how
Oh,
it's in the Blade Runner
right.
universe.
Yeah, right. That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah, because there was a reference to uh, Wayland Yutani or something. Yeah.
No,
Oh,
the other one, the Blade Runner one. What's
oh,
it
but
called?
Tyrell. Oh, there's Tyrell.
Tyrell.
I'm
Yeah,
sorry.
yeah.
I'm sorry. Yeah, Tyrell. That's right. I was thinking backwards.
Yeah, Miguel. We're talking about Vecna.
Yes. That's got to be one heck of an adventure.
Vecna is going. They're trying to make him their Thanos, which is just stupid.
And it's a multiverse. Yeah, as soon as they said that, that was a while ago. I forget which one of those adventure collections or something. Or I guess no, like around Spell. I think the Spelljammer release or something, where they're like, "Well, D&D has always been a multiverse, and so we're gonna MCU the hell out of this and like multiverse, right? Multiverse. Everything is a multiverse.
Mm-hmm.
We can play in all the Magic the Gathering settings as well."
I want to play I want to invent like a game world that's the inverse of Rifts. You know, it's like no, there is this one flat plane of existence that goes on
That's
for eternity, and
Yes.
nothing changes.
Yes, that's all there is and ever will be. Yes. That's right. Yeah. I wonder. Yeah, so looking. Oh, Casey, how's it going? Yeah, Van Damme. Thank you, Casey. Yeah, Van Damme is Universal Soldier. That's right. Oh, both of them and Dolph Lundgren. Oh, okay. Now that's why I was getting confused. Both of them.
You know, as crappy of a movie in hindsight as Johnny Mnemonic was,
Mm-hmm.
Dolph Lundgren played a cyber psycho, and it was kind of okay.
Right. Yeah, oh, that's right. I totally forgot about that movie.
Blocked out of your mind.
Yes. Because I was like,
But it's got a monofilament whip, man.
Yeah,
Anything
right.
that has one of those in it, I'm sold.
was that a Gibson short story, or did he just write a
Yeah.
screenplay? Okay, so it was based on
Yeah, it
it.
was a short story, I believe.
Yeah, that's funny.
Apple Plus, the rumor is they're gonna do a Neuromancer series.
Really?
And I'm here for it.
Yeah.
They have high production quality.
Oh, yeah.
Man. I like their stuff.
Yeah, they could actually do it now too. Yeah, I think that they could actually move between the cyber world and stuff and have it be interesting, visually interesting.
It will be fun. It will be kind of fun if they stick with the book and they don't try to reinterpret it.
Yeah.
It will be fun to present all of that stuff that technologically doesn't really make any sense now.
Right. Yeah.
Like the whole jacking into your ATM or whatever.
Right.
Why would you have to have a wire come out of your head to plug into the ATM?
Yeah, that's really true. And that was the thing. Yeah, I think a lot of the cyberpunk that was dreamed up in the 80s, they didn't realize which way things were actually going to go. So you got a lot of hardwire connections for everything. Yeah, and like that's a Johnny Mnemonic thing, right? Too. He's like plugging stuff in to his head, like the empty space in his brain.
Oh, that's the other one. Johnny Mnemonic had the girl who was borderline cyber psycho that had the wired reflexes, which is a great callback to the cyberpunk role playing game. Like that was like always my first buy was, I got to get wired reflexes.
Nice. Oh yeah, I was just looking. The Cyberpunk bundle just ended. The Cyberpunk Red bundle. They did a bunch of They did all the Artasalarian, the new releases, and they did one of the new combined DLC books first digitally on the Humble bundle, and then they did a bunch of kind of classic. I think like 32 or something, 32 books for that. Yeah, that was a pretty good one.
That is good.
And that's interesting that they're using those bundles to like premiere, like, because I think a lot of their stuff is digital only, like all their kind of, DLC for Cyberpunk Red is digital only. So to premiere it in a bundle is an interesting,
Yeah, that is cool.
interesting move.
Did you ever play any of the editions of our Talsorian Cyberpunk?
No. Yeah, I never had anybody into it at all. Like I've read, through some of the source material and some of the books, and I played the heck out of the 2077 game. So that that the Night City setting in that kind of moved up the timeline a bit. But yeah, no, I haven't played any of the.
It's pretty fun. I ran it in like I want to say mid 90s, probably a long time ago.
Yeah.
And then I bought their new-ish Witcher RPG.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah, and we ran that like one time uh, just to try it out. And it's basically like an updated version of their old system, and it's not bad. It doesn't have a lot of bells and whistles as far as the system. Like it's pretty meat and potatoes. You succeed or you don't kind of thing. But what I do remember about Cyberpunk combat was dangerous as hell.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Like it was real easy to get dropped in that game.
Well, that's cool. That works, yeah. Thematically. Wow. That's cool. Yeah, I wonder. I haven't read enough about what's changed, like what they updated with the Cyberpunk Red, like what they have. There was something when that first came out, when that was first released. I remember somebody talking about they were trying to fix some of the stuff, like we were saying, that doesn't make any sense with contemporary technology, and but I forget to what extent they did that. But yeah. Yeah, and they released like a starter set for that too, so we could try that out very, very easily. I think with just their, their pre-gen and their little starting adventure.
Yeah, I'd be curious to see how the net running works now. Because in the old version, it was kind of like a mini dungeon crawl for the net runner, and that seems cool. But when you have like 3 or 4 other players sitting around,
right.
Watching your netrunner do their dungeon crawl, that's not very fun.
Right. Yeah,
like
hopefully
they killed the internet. That's how they fixed it.
Oh, there we go. That's it.
Is there just no net running now?
Or maybe you can get onto networks, but everything is like an intranet. There's no internet.
Yeah, you see that in some newer Cyberpunk games where it's more like I can't remember the name of that video game. There was a video game about a hacker in Chicago, and the whole point of it was he could just take control of things. So like he could take control of your security cameras, or he could take control of that drone over there and fly it into the house to look around stealthily. So there was no net running. It was just you manipulating your environment.
Oh, right. There we go. Yeah. Yeah, so that's what they did. Yeah. No wireless internet, no social media, just local hacking. Yeah. Right. Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, and that's kind of what the video game 2077, that setting is still like that too. Like you're putting physical shards in your head, and you're watching television and listening to the radio. You're not yeah, and you're just like video calling people, but it's not it's not like this like
no VR, just leave your body kind of experience going on.
Oh yeah, they do have the I'm forgetting what they call that, but the kind of dream stuff, like like you can it's like a VR of like recorded experience, so you can go into these like actual events that happened. Yeah, I forget what that's called, but that is kind of like what they did in Stranger Things, where you record experiences so you can go to the site of a murder or a robbery or whatever. So that helped for some of the kind of detective work that you do in that game. Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. Cool. Yeah, net running is more augmented reality. There we go. Yeah, you can mix your action between meat space and net running. Oh, there we go. Yeah, yeah. That's probably what they needed to do to solve that problem, like what you were saying, where everyone's just like, "Are you done net running now?"
Yeah.
Sitting around. No, nice.
No
Yeah.
hacking from around the world.
Right,
Yeah.
right.
Yeah. That makes sense from a gameplay standpoint.
Mm-hmm.
It's from a like story standpoint, it kind of limits you a little more. Like the Neuromancer feeling felt like very expansive. Like you could, be influencing things from anywhere in the world. Kind of
Right,
thing.
right. Yeah, and that kind of like there was the one cyberpunk game we played where basically like when you could play a character that's just like in a lead lined refrigerator, like you never interact with the other players. You're just like, can talk, you're always in their head, you're talking to them, but you're basically this like atrophied body that can barely, stand up, and you're like hooked up to IVs, and but you're like, in some
Oh, wow.
yeah, you're
All
just
remote.
you're all remote. Yeah, you don't do anything physical.
That's kind of cool, actually. That sounds like Cyborg, which, hey, Orcus, I hear you're running some Cyborg.
Oh yeah, that's right. Nice. Yeah, we gotta get after that. We've even got the cyborg skirmish game too. That would be a fun thing to try on a VTT skirmish.
We haven't played any of the Borgs.
None of the Borgs, right? Right. Yeah. Well, yeah. It's all the Alchemy's got all of that built in, so we could easily, yeah.
Orcus ran Pirate Borg at a convention, I think.
Oh, that's
recently.
right. That's right.
Yeah, be kind of. That's the one I think I'm more interested in. Like, I honestly with Will and Terry, I don't know how much appeal Morkborg was have for them.
Yeah. Yeah. Interesting. Yeah. Yeah.
But Pirate Borg might be a good sell.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah, that's right. We have to figure out. But Dune though, that could be something coming
Dune,
up. Yeah.
Right. That was one of the ones on the list.
Yes. Yeah, because we're getting to the Dune 2's coming. So.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
We can see that's multifaceted marketing or something.
Yeah.
One of those words.
Right.
Synergy. I'm just gonna say words.
Yes.
I know why I'm trying to get you and Orcus and Nathan from AARPG to do a thing, because it's like you're doubling up on your promotion, right?
Right. Yeah. That's true. Yeah, that'll be good. Oh yeah, did you see that? Speaking of Dune, did you see that? I think it's Gale Force 9 is doing. I think it's them. It may be another company that has the license too, but another edition of the Dune board game. So they already released it, and with some modern expansions, and now they're going to go to crowdfunding and release this like super deluxe, amazing version of the Dune board game. It's like, what are you doing?
So not really changing the game, just
No.
blinged out.
Yeah, they're just, I don't know if they're doing like wooden pieces or what they're doing, but yeah. And they didn't have, in the article that announced it, they didn't have any good images of how it's changed. But the re-release, the update that Gale Force 9 did is a good looking game. It's really like it has a nice aesthetic. So I don't know what they're doing. Yeah.
Yeah, that game intrigued me because I haven't played it, but reading when the new version came out, reading reviews and articles about it, and like it sounds like one of those games that you don't want to play with anyone who's susceptible to butt hurt in board games.
Right.
There's a lot of like backstabbing that goes on.
Yeah, game. Right, and a lot of time invested too. It's not a short game. Yeah. So yeah. Yeah, I can think of a lot of people that I won't be playing that game with then. Oh man. Yeah, that's funny. Yeah, but I was surprised. It's like, I guess that they're trying to time it with the release of the second film, so people are talking about Dune again. But that seems like a really odd thing to do, because it's going to be the whole game combined, all the expansions, everything in kind of one, maybe kind of one item.
$1 million.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. How much more deluxe do you need? Oh, cool. Oh, Arcus is saying, yeah, I can recommend Dune. Nice. Yeah. I think you guys will be, because we've played some 2D20, so you both Star Trek and John Carter, so it won't be a totally new system, and the new stuff they do with it is really interesting, and I hope that that it clicks the same way that the 2D20 clicked with you guys before. I think there's some fun stuff in there.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
Nice. Cool. Well, I got to get reading then. I thought all my heavy reading, I had to, that case file 2 for Blade Runner, I had to read that thing so many times because the first time I like read it beginning to end, I'm like, I have no idea what's going on in this adventure. This absolutely made no sense whatsoever. I'm like, okay, let's try this again. And I think it had to do with it not being printed, with reading it on a tablet and kind of zooming in, so I couldn't see whole pages of stuff, so I couldn't like collect different pieces of information. So I'm just reading little box and sentence at a time. I'm like, none of this connects, none of this makes any sense. Yeah.
Well, I can tell you, like, for this mystery I'm running for Black Sword Hack, because I was so paranoid about running a mystery that I had written myself, I made a flowchart. I started at the top with an inciting event, and I branched off from there, and I made sure that multiple things could lead back to something that keeps the plot moving forward, you know? Because that's the problem, right? That's how the bad ones get written, is like, oh, you didn't find the thing? Well, now you don't know where to go or what to do.
Right.
You know?
Yeah, I think both Blade Runner case files did that as well. I think they mostly did it to like control the flow of locations, because you have to choose a location that you go to per shift. And so they did a flow chart of how the locations are connected, like where you would get a clue, where you could possibly be taken to from this location, like what information you get. And then they just connected them. So you could kind of like, okay, you could they'll probably either go here or here. And so you could kind of keep the group interested and constantly finding, new stuff. Yeah, and the way that those case files are written, they do a really good job of like, if you miss one thing that's happening, there's so many other ways to get that information. I like that, and especially because also information is being reported back to a central LAPD server kind of thing.
Yeah.
So that helps a lot. So you don't get stuck. Nice.
Everyone's a skin job. It feels like everyone's a skin job, or just like,
Perez.
Oh my god, I'm surrounded by them.
Yeah, it's so funny. I just keep making it worse too, because I totally missed that detail in the Seraphin description. She's a sympathetic human that helps the mutant replicant underground. Like, they're all replicants. They're all replicants.
You just assume they're replicant.
Yeah. So
that's how it's going to end for Perez. He's going to be in a town square going crazy, shooting everyone because he thinks they're all replicants.
Yes. Yeah. I'm allowed to do this. I retire you all. Nice. Yeah. Very cool. Oh, wow. Yeah. That's right. Because when that, what was it, like the 84 Dune game was out of print? Yeah, there were like so many like printable PDFs and stuff floating around. And Orcus said he saw online somebody that did a homemade wooden version of that Dune board. Nice. Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, because it's funny that like there was a demand for that for so long, and it was like a well respected, a well loved game that just went out of print and stayed out of print. I guess though, what Fantasy Flight did that they reskinned something, and basically it was the Dune board game. Yeah, do you remember what that was?
It was Rex or something.
Yes, yeah, that's right.
Which is their Twilight Imperium universe.
That's right. Yeah. They took their original Twilight Imperium and just reskinned Dune. That's right. Rob is a Cylon. So is your Miguel says, is your Blade Runner Battlestar Galactica where everyone is a Cylon? Nice. Yeah, did you ever play that? Was it the board game, the Battlestar Galactica board game?
No, and it came out when those trader games were really hot.
Yes,
You know, like
right.
obviously Werewolf, but then there were a million other versions of it.
Mm-hmm.
And I was interested, but then every review I heard of it was like, one, they loved it, but two, it was way too long. And then I was like,
mhm.
so I never pulled the trigger. I never got it.
Were you into the show? Did you watch the series, the Sci-Fi Channel series, the reboot?
So I started it,
Mhm.
and I think from what I've been told, I didn't finish it. And from what I've been told, I missed out because I stopped watching it because so much of it, I guess early on, maybe this changes, but it really felt like a soap opera to me. And I was just like kind of bored with it.
But it was amazing new take on. Oh yeah, right.
The Vipers looked cool.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, whatever. And I love Katie Sackhoff. I watch her in anything. But anyway.
Yeah. So you're part 2%, of the
2%.
2%. Yes.
Yeah. Google it. I dare you.
Nice. All right. Well, thanks everyone for hanging out in the chat. Yeah, good to see you, Casey, and Orcus and Miguel and Matt. Oh, Matt's in the chat too. Hey, Matt, how's it going?
Hello.
Wow, you're like multitasking. That's amazing. You can be in two places at once.
Most of my answers are just emojis because I don't want to type too much.
Nice. All right. So yeah, thanks everybody for joining us. And the audio for this whole live stream goes onto the Patreon RSS feed, cleaned up so it's an easier listen. And so thank you everyone, all the patrons and members. And if you want to just see what's going on the Patreon, there's a free level for Patreon members, so you just get the updates and you can see everything that's posted. So consider doing that if you don't feel like committing at the moment. But thank you everyone that is supporting what's going on, and we will do this again next week. And tune in tomorrow for some Blade Runner, and we'll see what happens to Perez. We'll see if Perez will make it to Case File 3. And so thanks for watching and listening, and we'll see you next time.
Bye.
Goodbye.